Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, host of the Football History Dude podcast, right here on the Sports History Network. Now, before we jump into another sports history adventure, let me tell you about this episode's sponsor. We partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autographed sports collectibles. They even have film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. Perhaps you're looking for a gift for Mother's Day, or maybe Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your sports cave, right? But how is RSA able to offer such great deals on JSA authentication, you ask? Well, they do this by making deals directly with athletes, so there are no extra markups, and they choose to pass these savings on to the customer. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you have to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. Again, that's shoprsa.com/SHN. Head over there to get your piece of sports history today.
Went through an entertaining little exercise a couple weeks ago for an article I wrote for ProFootballReference.com on the greatest cornerbacks of all time. Well, there's some great ways to look at these guys, and we're going to discuss them and the players I chose coming up in just a moment here on the podcast.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with PigskinDispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about some great football history. And today we're going to talk about an article that I freelanced for ProFootballReference.com. We'll get into that in just a moment. But before we do, let's make sure that you are aware of everything that's going on in the Pig Pen. And one easy way to find out is our daily newsletter. So easy to sign up. Go to the show notes of this very podcast and sign up. 2 simple questions, your email and your name. And you can unsubscribe at any time. Every day, 6:30 a.m. When you do subscribe, you will get all the information that's going on in the Pig Pen. That's Pigskin Dispatch. That's Jersey Dispatch. That's our podcast, our audio drama, Orville Mulligan Sports Writer. And I'm also going to try to include some of these articles that I'm writing for other folks like Pro Football Reference and Baseball Reference and College Football Reference and any others that come up here, because I'm going to be writing around here, as well as some other news that's going on from the Pig Pen. So make sure you do that. So let's get into this Pro Football Reference. My very first assignment, early March it came out. It's been almost a week and a half now. It was to write about the top 12 cornerbacks of all time. And of course, this is in pro football. This is ProFootballReference.com. And I'll have a link for that in the show notes so you can read that article yourself, because it's really, with the enhancements that Pro Football Reference has on each player, it's really remarkable, and I think you really want to do it. But so I had to go through and look at the cornerbacks of the greatest of all time. And it made me really stop and think, how do you classify these gentlemen of who's the best is? You have different eras of football. You know, the early pro era, so let's say the 1920s through the 1940s. You had one system of passing, and the job of a cornerback was one thing. The defensive backs in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, it was a different job altogether than it was earlier in football, let's say. And now you compare that with the modern days of the 80s through today. wow, they are really doing much differently things because of rule changes, scheme changes, formation changes by the offense, new defensive strategies, and schematics and minds that are coming in and just doing all kinds of crazy things. So I said, I really got to break these down so it's fair to everybody of all eras. Talk about a little bit about the elements of a job of a cornerback and how can I show that with statistics that are shown on ProFootballReference.com and StatHead.com, another property of the Sports Reference sites. So I broke it down like this. I said, okay, the run stoppers, that's one big job that's happened in all eras. Who was the best tacklers of the cornerback position? The segment I called the returners and the burners. These are the guys that once they got the ball in their hands on an interception or a fumble recovery, what'd they do with it? Could they get a lot of yardage returning it? What might happen there? Then I talked about a group I called the ball hawks. These are the guys that had that nose for the football and had the picks, the glamour statistic for defensive back. And then I went into talking about the guys that won awards, the guys with the hardware, who had the most all-pros, who championships, any other defensive back awards that these cornerbacks would have held. So we went through these and I came up with a really nice list from all eras. The statistics brought me to this. And if you haven't had time to ever play with the statistics on StatHead or on the ProFootballReference.com or any of the sports reference sites, it's really amazing what they share and some of the sorting functions on the site itself. And then you can download them and do them in your own spreadsheets. And really, it's a lot of fun and hours of entertainment. And just some of these names that came up were, of course, Deion Sanders came up, Lem Barney, Jonathan Joseph, Ken Riley, and Dick LeBeau and Dick Night Train Lane. They were teammates on the Detroit Lions back in the day. Champ Bailey is another one. Herb Adderley, Rod Woodson, Willie Brown, just some tremendous cornerbacks that we got to talk about, and just a lot of fun. Have a little bit of write-up on each one of them, a little bit of background, and of course, the Pro Football Reference statistics pop right out at you with a little photo and all their accolades and everything. It's really a tremendous way to post these. The Pro Football Reference is starting blogs on each on Pro Football Reference. They have a blog coming out, but each of the Sports Reference are starting a blog post, and they have guest writers like myself that are coming in and freelancing and using their data to do an assignment. And I've got a few more coming up here in the next few weeks, and we'll talk about those on some future podcasts. But make sure you go to the link on the show notes of this podcast and check it out. And give me your feedback on it. Let me know what you think. Is there some people that I left off that list that maybe you would have? And give me some reasons why. Pigskinddispatch@gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of me. And or leave the comments there on Pro Football Reference in their comment section. And love to hear from you. There is no wrong answers. That's the beauty of doing these talking about these great cornerbacks and position players and any statistical feature in football history. So make sure you check that out. And until next time, have a great Gridiron Day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Sterneman collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.